We're so glad that you joined us today. This is Victoria Wolders, your My Kids Locker COVID-19 podcast host. Today, we get to focus on an empathy tale called The Tears and the Rain. It's actually one of my most favorite stories that I've told my own kids. So I hope that you're comfortable because we're going to start with a mindful moment and listening to some words about a virtue.
To part one. Are you comfy? Are you cozy? Well, get ready to listen.
Well, here we are in part one, our listening part. And today we get to think about a wonderful statement about self-awareness. Self-awareness is being aware of your body, being aware of your feelings. And today we get to think about a statement. Today's statement is choose to practice self-awareness. What I mean by that is throughout the day, stop yourself. Think about what parts of your body are feeling tense. What parts of your body are feeling relaxed? What is your mind thinking? How are you reacting to people? When someone's angry at you, are you able to calm yourself down? Maybe when someone's happy, are you able to be happy with them? Today, the focus is to practice self-awareness. I hope that you enjoyed this listening portion. Now we are moving on to part two.
Hi everyone, welcome back to part two today. We are going to create something amazing and let's get crafty. Bye.
Well, here we are in part two. Create. It's a great opportunity for me to tell you a little bit about the story. So, the story today is called The Tears and the Rain. Our focus this week is setting. Setting is the background that the characters are in. Sometimes the setting changes. Well, today's story is focused on a woman rescuing a fairy. She's given 3 wishes. Her wishes change the course of her relationship with the fairy and with nature. Will she change her ways or will she continue to hurt the living around her? So, you're going to find out what happens. Take some time to think about the setting today. Where are these characters? What are they doing? Well, for today's activity for you to create, our focus is on expressing in any way that you want. We work off the acronym here, TALE, during the week when we are working with our empathy tales. T means tell, A means art, L means layout, and E is express in any way you want. Maybe you want to act it out. Okay, so today's focus is going to be layout. So draw a picture of the fairy in the setting of the Eastern Eagles Fairy Forest. What type of wings would it have? What would the forest look like? Do they have big oak trees? Are they green? Are they brown? Are they shriveled? Is the ground lush with beautiful green grass, or is it dry like a desert? You get to draw the setting today. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this part 2, and we are now going to move on to our story.
The Tears and the Rain. Once upon a time, there lived a lonely woman in the magical forest in the Oak and Eagle Kingdom. She lived in the land of the Eastern Eagles. Her name was Thea. She lived alone for many years, and when Thea tried to be around people, she had a hard time doing that because she had a hard time understanding her emotions and feelings. In the past, when her family was grieving the passing of her mother, she would say to them, "I don't know how you feel. I'm sad, but I don't really know how to feel. You're all crying and I don't like crying. If someone said to her, "Do you know how it feels to be lonely?" she'd always say, "No, I don't. I don't know how it feels to be lonely." Thea would walk away. Often when she would see people crying or upset or even have an opportunity to spend time with friends and family, she chose to be by herself. As she got older, she chose to build a cottage in the magical forest. There she would sit at the windowsill every day and look out. Her cottage was facing a path, and this path was the exact path that many fairies would walk. The fairies would walk daily to get to their village and then back to their homes. She became familiar with all the fairies' faces, yet they didn't know she was looking at them. She was a very lonely lady. She would often want to say hi to them, but she didn't know how they would feel, and they probably wouldn't want to talk to her because she was a stranger. One bright summer afternoon, there were fairies that were walking on this path, and there was this beautiful one with translucent wings. And the fairy accidentally tripped and fell, unfortunately. This beautiful fairy's wing broke. Well, all of a sudden, Thea jumped up from her window seat, ran to the door, opened the door, and ran out. At this time, there wasn't any other fairies around except for this one single fairy who was hurt. Thea picked up the fairy very gently and walked her back to her cottage. She took care of the fairy, and the fairy was very appreciative. The fairy turned to her and gently whispered, "My name is Abigail, and because of your goodness, your care, and your tenderness, I will give you 3 wishes." Well, Thea looked at her and said, "Well, thank you so much. I would like my 3 wishes. My first wish is that I have you visit every single day." Thea was very excited because she was excited to have a friend around her to spend some time with. Abigail responded, "Yes, I will grant that for you." Thea turned to her, saying, "I have a second wish, and the second wish is that I do not ever want to cry again. I do not want a single tear to be shed from my eye." Abigail was confused. "Are you sure you want to do this? It will be hard for you to have a shared experience with other people and to enjoy pain and joy together. Even though pain is difficult, tears help relationships." Thea continued to say, "I don't want any tears anymore." So Abigail granted Thea's wish. Thea's last wish was she would not want any more rain to fall on her land. The fairy cautioned her, "Are you sure about that? That means that it's going to affect your land." Thea looked at her. "I don't like rain. I want sunshine all the time." The fairy responded, "Okay, I've granted you 3 wishes." Thea smiled for the first time in a long time. The fairy smiled back. The fairy left, and the next day the fairy came back to visit. Over the next couple weeks, Abigail came every day. Thea always made sure she had a cup of tea ready and they would spend some time together. Time went by, and unfortunately, Abigail's mother passed away. Her fairy mother had passed away suddenly, and she came to Thea's door very sad. I am very sad right now because my mother died. Abigail started crying, and Thea looked at her. I don't understand why you're crying. I don't cry. I can't help you. You can leave now. Abigail was sad that Thea couldn't feel what she felt. There was no rain that fell. Over the coming months, flowers dried up. The creek close to the village dried up. And unfortunately, over time, even the beautiful cedar trees that surrounded the cottage were drying up. Abigail came to Thea as usual in the morning. However, she was sad. Thea did not understand her sadness. Thea chose to judge Abigail. Abigail, stop being so sad. This is your life. Your mother has passed away. Abigail looked at Thea. I used to call you my friend because you healed me and helped me, yet you choose not to empathize with me. The pain I feel, you have felt, but your choice to not let yourself feel my pain with me leads to a dull relationship filled with judgment and sympathy. You need to feel pain to feel joy. You need to feel pain to build a healthy relationship. This is hard. Oh, so hard and so painful. Do you realize that with no tears and with no rain, it is hard for you and your land to grow? It's hard for you to connect with people and have a shared experience. Not only that, but the insects are now dying. The fish that used to come to the creek aren't there anymore. The birds that used to sit in these trees don't come by anymore because they don't have any insects to eat. Do you realize that your wishes have hurt you more than they've helped you? They've hurt me more than they've helped me. Thea looked at Abigail. I see what you see now. I feel what you feel now. I was wrong. I have lost the opportunity to be able to care for you and to empathize with you, to feel what you feel. And I have also lost the opportunity to have beautiful nature grow around me and insects and animals to flourish on my land because I chose there to be no rain. They don't come around anymore because there is no rain that falls on my land. How do I change that? Help me. The fairy bowed her head down. I will take back the last two, but the first one I will keep. I will continue to visit you, and I hope that we can share many joys and tears. In joy, both of us can sit together and enjoy the sunshine, and also the rain, and recognize the goodness that comes when we have water fall from the sky. We are all connected, and we need to appreciate the beauty of the water that flows from our eyes and the water that flows from the sky. With that, they hugged each other, and the old woman learned the importance of tears and rain. Thank you so much for joining us today for another Empathy Tale.
Hi, everyone. It's time to innovate, part 3. Woo.
Well, welcome back. You're now in part 3, and we just finished reading The Tears and the Rain. I hope that you enjoyed the story just as much as I did. Well, for our extension lesson today, I want you to think about a few things. When was the last time you saw someone help another person? Talk to someone at your house about helping other people. And when they saw someone helping another person, perhaps with the help of your parent or an adult, go to Nurturing Professions on the internet and learn more. Nurturing professions are professions where people do jobs in our community to care for other people. Why don't you take some time to draw a picture of a profession that you might want that is a nurturing profession. Think about the importance of how nurturing professions help our world and how they care for us. They are very important. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this beautiful story of the tears and the rain, and I hope that you learned something today. Feel free to show me your creations on #MyKidsLocker, #COVID-19Ed. I would love to connect with you and learn more about what it means to be empathetic and compassionate. Until next time, boys and girls, remember to always listen, create, and innovate. Take care and see you on the next episode.